"You're not welcome at Christmas anymore, darling. It's strictly for real families now, parents and their kids." Those were the exact words my mother said over the phone without a shred of hesitation. For 7 years straight, I was the designated family holiday planner. I cooked the 20-pound turkeys, wrapped the mountain of gifts, and funded the entire Christmas weekend in Lake Tahoe out of my own pocket. But the moment my younger sister announced her pregnancy, my mother decided that being single and child-free meant I was suddenly demoted to an outsider who didn't deserve a seat at the table. They expected me to sit alone in my empty apartment, crying into frozen dinners while they took over the holiday. Instead, I took the entire $6,000 Christmas budget, booked a luxury balcony suite on a Caribbean cruise, and turned off my phone. Before we dive into what happened next, leave a comment below with the city or country you're watching from. I'd love to see where everyone is joining us today. My name is Clara, I'm 32 years old, and for the past 7 years, I was the undisputed backbone of our family holidays. As a senior project manager with no husband or kids, my time and income were treated like open community assets. Every single December, while everyone else relaxed, I was the one who rented the luxury cabin in Lake Tahoe, funded the 4-course meals, and hand-wrapped hundreds of dollars worth of designer presents for everyone. Then came the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. My mother, Eleanor, called with an icy chill in her voice that caught me completely off guard. "Clara, dear, we need to set some new boundaries this year," she started, not even asking how my day went. "Your sister Chloe is having her first baby, and honestly, the magic of Christmas belongs strictly to parents and their little ones now. We've decided the gathering should just be for real nuclear families. It's simply uncomfortable having single adults hanging around child-focused events." I sat in stunned silence, clutching my phone as the cruelty of her words sank in. I had funded Chloe's baby shower just 2 months earlier. Yet, in Eleanor's eyes, because I hadn't produced a grandchild, I was suddenly an embarrassment not worthy of a seat at the dinner table. But what made my blood truly boil came 5 minutes later. Chloe texted me a spreadsheet of holiday grocery expenses and high-end toy registries, casually adding, "Since you're not coming, make sure you transfer your half of the catering deposit by Friday, sis." The sheer audacity of Chloe's text hit me like a splash of ice water. For years, I had convinced myself that paying for every holiday was an act of love, a way to show my family how much I cared. But staring at that glossy wish list, filled with $400 espresso machines, designer baby strollers, and gourmet catering line items, the painful truth became impossible to ignore. To my mother and sister, I wasn't a cherished daughter or sister. I was merely an automated teller machine with emotional attachments. They genuinely expected me to sit alone in my quiet apartment on Christmas Day, feeling like an unloved failure, while footing the bill for their luxurious holiday feast. A bitter laugh escaped my throat as the grief inside me hardened into pure, cold resolve. I was done being the family doormat. Within 10 minutes, I opened my laptop and canceled the $6,000 reservation I had tentatively placed for the Lake Tahoe cabin. I called the gourmet bakery and revoked the deposits for the customized holiday treats and meats. That left my entire holiday budget sitting untouched in my personal savings account. Instead of sulking, I typed a new search into my browser: luxury Caribbean holiday getaways. Within an hour, I booked a 10-day Christmas cruise in an exclusive penthouse suite with a private balcony overlooking the open ocean, inclusive of full spa access and 5-star fine dining. For the first time in 7 years, my Christmas was going to belong entirely to me. On the afternoon of December 23rd, while my cruise ship quietly set sail out of Miami into the turquoise ocean, my family's reality began to unravel back in California. My mother, Eleanor, alongside Chloe, her husband Mark, and our extended relatives, arrived at the private gated property in Lake Tahoe expecting the usual winter wonderland experience. For the past 7 seasons, I had always driven up 2 days early to turn on the radiant floor heating, stock the double-door stainless refrigerator with artisan cheeses and prime-cut roasts, and light the grand pine garland above the stone fireplace. When Chloe punched the security keypad on the front gate, the alarm chimed a sharp, high-pitched error. The access code had expired because the reservation had been canceled weeks ago. After 45 frantic minutes on the phone with a furious property owner, they were forced to scramble into a rundown roadside motel 20 miles down the icy highway, hauling their designer luggage through freezing slush. To make matters worse, Eleanor marched into the local bakery to pick up what she thought was a pre-ordered, 5-course catered dinner, only to be informed that no order existed under our family name. The reality struck them like a physical blow. None of them had ever checked the bank statements, none of them had pre-ordered a single turkey, and not one of them knew how to prepare a festive banquet from scratch. They were stranded in cramped motel rooms with nothing but microwavable gas station sandwiches and freezing mountain winds rattling the single-pane windows. While my family was crammed into a drafty roadside motel, arguing over vending machine snacks and damp sheets, I was sitting on my private balcony sipping vintage champagne as the warm Caribbean breeze washed over me. My mornings began with fresh tropical fruit platters delivered straight to my suite, followed by deep tissue massages in the ship's oceanfront spa. I spent the afternoons lounging on the sun deck, reading novels without the background noise of family criticism, and making friends with wonderful, warm travelers who treated me with genuine kindness. For the first time in my adult life, December wasn't a marathon of exhaustion, cooking, and quiet resentment. It was pure, unadulterated luxury. On Christmas Eve, as the ship anchored near the sun-drenched shores of St. Thomas, I briefly switched on my mobile data to check the port excursion schedule. The moment my phone connected to the local satellite network, it froze under the sheer volume of incoming alerts. 47 missed calls. Over 80 frantic text messages. My screen was flooded with notifications from Eleanor, Chloe, and even my brother-in-law Mark. The initial messages from 2 days prior started with confused questions about door codes and catering pickup receipts. But by the night of the 24th, the tone had devolved into frantic entitlement and outright rage. Chloe had sent a string of capitalized texts demanding that I immediately wire $3,000 to Mark's account so they could book an emergency dining room at a nearby resort. Eleanor had left a 4-minute voicemail, her voice shrill and trembling, demanding to know why I had abandoned my family duties during such a sacred holiday. Christmas morning broke with radiant Caribbean sunshine spilling across the deck of the luxury liner. While I relaxed in an oceanfront cabana with Belgian waffles and a chilled mimosa, the situation back in Lake Tahoe had descended into total catastrophe. Between freezing drafts, peeling wallpaper, and bitter arguments over who was going to pay the motel bill, my family's picture-perfect holiday had completely collapsed. Mark had attempted to cook cheap supermarket cuts on a faulty hot plate, setting off the motel's shrieking fire alarm and driving the entire building out into the snow in their pajamas. At 11 sharp, Eleanor called yet again. This time, I calmly swiped the screen to answer. "Clara, where on earth are you?" she wailed, her voice cracking with fury and sheer humiliation. "We are freezing in a miserable roadside motel. Chloe is having a breakdown. There's no Christmas dinner, and the children have nothing to open. How could you do this to us? You've completely ruined Christmas for the entire family. Where is the catering? Where is the money?" I took a slow, measured sip of my drink, listening to the gentle crash of the waves against the ship's hull. "Merry Christmas, Mother," I replied, my tone calm, polite, and completely unbothered. I'm currently sitting on a private sun deck about 300 miles off the coast of Puerto Rico. There was a stunned, breathless pause on the line before Eleanor gasped. "A cruise? You spent the family budget on a luxury cruise while your pregnant sister starves in a motel room? You transfer that catering money to Mark's account this instant. You owe us." "I don't owe anyone a single cent," I answered firmly, without a trace of guilt left in my voice. "You made it crystal clear that Christmas is an exclusive event reserved strictly for parents. You told me I wasn't welcome at your table because I'm child-free. So consider this a simple reality check. Since I am not invited, my wallet isn't invited either." Before she could scream another word, I tapped the red button, muted my notifications, and ordered another glass of champagne. The fallout didn't stay confined to that miserable motel room. By the following afternoon, Chloe took to Facebook to wage a public sympathy campaign. She posted a tearful photo of her cramped motel surroundings, accompanied by a lengthy rant about how her selfish, heartless older sister had intentionally ruined her baby's very first family Christmas by withholding funds and abandoning them in the cold. She expected a chorus of validation and outrage on her behalf. Instead, her little stunt backfired completely. My Aunt Patricia, who had politely declined the Tahoe trip weeks earlier because she suspected how terribly I was being treated, commented directly beneath the post. "Didn't you and your mother tell Clara she wasn't allowed to attend because she doesn't have children? You banished her from the family dinner, yet expected her to pay thousands of dollars to fund your holiday? The only selfish ones here are you and Eleanor." Within hours, extended aunts, uncles, and family cousins chimed in, echoing Patricia's words and calling out Chloe's toxic entitlement. Humiliated by the sudden public backlash, Chloe frantically deleted the post. By evening, Eleanor sent me a furious text message demanding that I post a public apology to clear the family name and mend Chloe's bruised ego. I stared at the screen without an ounce of remorse. For the first time in 32 years, I didn't rush to fix their mess. I simply left the message on read, knowing my boundaries were now permanently unbreakable. When the ship pulled back into port on New Year's Day, I walked off the gangway feeling completely reborn. For years, I had believed that being a loyal daughter meant absorbing cruelty with a smile and constantly paying for love that was only ever conditional. But stepping back onto solid ground, I felt lighter, stronger, and entirely unburdened by guilt. I permanently blocked Chloe and Eleanor on my personal accounts, leaving communication strictly open through email for genuine emergencies only. That holiday season taught me a vital lesson. Family isn't about bloodlines, genetic expectations, or financial obligations. True family treats you with respect, whether you have children or not. From that winter forward, I created my own holiday traditions, traveling to breathtaking destinations, surrounding myself with people who value me for who I am, and choosing my own peace over anyone else's entitlement. Now, I want to hear your thoughts on my story. What would you have done if your family banned you from Christmas but still expected you to pay the bill? Have you ever had to set strict boundaries with toxic relatives? Drop a comment below with your thoughts and let me know where you're tuning in from. Don't forget to click on the screen to watch 2 more incredible revenge stories. Thank you for listening until the end.